All right, how y'all brothers doing this Sabbath?
Good.
Are you sisters doing this Sabbath? Everybody in the spirit?
Yes, sir.
All right, all praises, all praises. I'm quite sure y'all remember we went over, what all did we go over? We went over ceremonial law. We went over moral law, civil law. Now we're going to get into dietary law. Let's get into dietary law. All right, so let's start this off in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 27.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
So God created man, woman, beast, fowl of the air, everything, and he gave us what kind of a diet? What kind of a diet did we have? What kind of diet did he give everything at this point?
Shalom, leadership.
Shalom.
Brother Emmanuel, vegetarian.
Yes, it was everything ate a vegetarian diet at this point. Everything, every creature. So, this is how we started off. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 4.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
So, wait a minute. So, in those days, so again, at this point, has the diet changed? Anybody? At this point, has the diet changed? You can just say it. Okay, so at this point, it's still a vegetarian diet, correct? So these were mighty men, men of renown. They were giants. And they were being sustained on what? Herbs, vegetables, fruit, grains, right? So this is what they ate, but yet they was able to be mighty men of renown. So watch this. Let's go. Give me that vegan soul article. So, blow it up a little bit. I just want to scroll through it right quick. So, that's good. Right there. All right, so you got an elephant. The elephant is vegan. That doesn't eat anything. It doesn't eat meat. It's not carnivorous. The rhino, also another one of the largest animals on the planet. Same with the rhinoceros, which is called what in the Bible? What is a rhinoceros called in the Bible? Unicorn. All right, so same with the hippo. Big as it is, bison. And even when you look, certain so-called dinosaurs ate a vegetarian diet. Biggest and strongest animals, I didn't put that in the class, but it's like talking about how they drink up a lake and knock down cedars with his tail. And like, that's a strong, big, healthy animal, right? So now let me get that plant protein. It's a video. Give me that.
All protein is made by plants. I'll state that again for the record. All protein is initially made by plants, all of it. And it is not necessary to eat animal tissue in order to get protein. Only plants have the ability to actually take nitrogen from the air, break those molecules apart, and incorporate that nitrogen into amino acids and then make protein. Any protein you get from an animal is simply recycled plant protein.
If you ate a diet that was calorically adequate, and even things like brown rice and broccoli, and you got enough of it, you'd get enough both quantity and quality of protein. 2,000 calories of brown rice and broccoli is going to be about 80 grams of protein a day, including the essential amino acids that you need in order to maintain optimum health.
I mean, grains are loaded with protein. Beans are loaded with protein. Vegetables are loaded with protein.
You really want to get your protein from plants because plant proteins have a much more beneficial effect.
So this is how we were getting our protein in these days, from plants. That's all we ate. So obviously we got it from somewhere, right? All right, so we was getting it from the plants. Same thing the animals got theirs from. Well, some of the most powerful mammals on the planet are all, it's not us. We're powerful mentally, but you sitting up and trying to arm wrestle with a bear, the bear gonna win. So they get a lot of that they getting that protein, they getting a lot of that energy, they getting all that stuff from them eating a plant-based diet, which is what we were on in the beginning. So now go to Genesis 7 and verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 7 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee sevens by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the males and the females, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth.
So, quick question. How did Noah know what was clean and what was unclean, beast-wise? How did he know that? This is Genesis chapter 7. Pick one, soldier, don't matter.
Shalom, Lee. Shalom.
Make sure it's on when you give it to him.
Shalom, leadership. Noah knew the laws, the dietary laws.
Speak
Noah,
into it.
I don't think it's on. Yes,
Yeah, it's on. Go ahead, speak into it.
He knew the dietary laws, what they were.
Yeah, exactly. He already knew the dietary law. How did he know the dietary law? Because it was already in existence. The dietary law was passed down from who? Adam. Adam was supposed to teach everybody else. And he taught his sons, he taught his daughters. They taught and they passed on and passed on and passed on. This is how Noah knew it. So he knew what was clean and unclean. How could he separate them if he didn't know? Y'all understand? Y'all following so far?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now let's go back to chapter 6 and verse 21.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 21. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten.
So this is him getting the order from the Most High on what to prepare to take in the ark with him. So got the animals, but now he said take food with you. Go ahead.
And thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them.
Them meaning the animals. Read on.
Verse 22. Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he.
So we always focus on him building the ark. We focus on him gathering the animals, doing this, all of that stuff. But he also had to gather up food for all the animals when they was on the ark and for his family while they were on the ark. And what did he gather up? Fruits, vegetables, grains. That's what he gathered up. Enough for him and them. So you got to imagine how much work Noah had to put in. Gathering up, we looked at elephants. Elephants was there. You looked at rhinos. Rhinos was there. He had to gather up stuff for all of them and his family. You know how much work that is? That's a lot of work. And Noah, but he got that thing done. So all praises to the Most High. So, but again, I'm pointing out that at this time, it was a vegetarian or plant-based diet. All right, so now let's go to Daniel chapter 1.
This is the book of Daniel,
Let's start at verse 3.
chapter 1 and verse 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Read on.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself.
So Daniel purposed in his heart, he said, look, I'm not eating the king's meat or his wine. Why not? It was unclean. If it was clean, he would have eaten it. But he knows, he's like, look, that's unclean. We don't eat pork. We don't eat bison. Well, no. We don't eat, what's something else that we don't eat?
Camel.
Camel. We don't eat camel. We don't eat catfish. What else don't we eat? Who? Crab? Lions. I like that one. Lions. Yeah, we don't eat that. You know, they might have been eating that, saying, hey, look, lions make you strong. I'm like, no, we're not eating that. So he saw what they was eating. He's like, no, I don't want that. Drop down to verse 11.
Verse 11. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, and Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink.
Pulse and water. Can you pull up, I put a thing in there for the definition of pulse.
Pulse. The edible seeds of various leguminous plants.
What's that word?
Leguminous?
Leguminous.
Leguminous? I don't know, that's not a typical Negro word.
Right, that's a Negro word right there.
Leguminous plants. For example, chickpeas, lentils, and beans. The plant or plants producing pulses.
So this is what they was eating. It was beans, chickpeas, lentils. You're like, look, give me this stuff. Let me eat this and water, and then come and check me after. I forget the amount of time we just read it.
10 days.
Yeah, so he said, come back and check on me after that and see how I look after me just eating pulse, and then them eating the king's meat. The other ones, everybody else eating the king's meat. And then he came back and he noticed that they was looked in better health than the ones that ate the king's meat. So he allowed them to continue to eat pulse. Now, at this time, we're not in a vegetarian diet. That diet has changed. So now, they have the option to eat meat, but he chose to eat that diet to avoid eating the king's meat. Follow. Okay. So now, let's go to Genesis 8:1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 8, verse 1. And God remembered Noah, and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark.
Go ahead.
In the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged.
So now he remembered Noah. Drop down to verse 18.
Verse 18. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kinds, went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done.
So Noah gets off the ark, lets all the animals free, and then he sets up an altar and then makes a burnt sacrifice unto the Lord. He makes a burnt offering, correct? All right, so was this the first burnt offering? No, this wasn't the first burnt offering? Somebody said no? Yeah, brother shook his head over there. He's still shaking his head. This wasn't the first one? What was the first one? Cain. Yeah, that's the first one we read about, is with Cain, right? Well, which the one that he didn't do. The one that Abel did. Let's call it, let's get him right. So let's get that. Genesis 4:1.
This is the book
Because, well, go ahead. You read this and I'll explain why I want this.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
So, they made a burnt sacrifice. Or a burnt offering, I'm sorry. So they made a burnt offering, correct? We still in a plant-based diet at this time, correct? What about in the time with Noah? If y'all don't know, that's fine. If you don't know, you don't know. During the time when Noah got off of the ark, because they just came off the ark, and he came off and he made an offering unto the Lord, right?
Right.
Was he still under a plant-based diet at that point? Somebody say no. You say no? You say, what'd you say? You say no too? Anybody say anything different? You say something different? You say yes? Go ahead, get them right. Let's see. I want to hear what you got.
Shalom leadership.
Hey, shalom.
Brother Solomon. He doesn't give the law to eat meat until after.
Oh, yes, that's correct. He didn't give the law to eat meat till after they got off the ark. He did that as soon as they got off. So it's still more time before he says, okay, now you can eat meat. I agree. That's what the scripture says. That's correct, what the brother said. So it's still under a plant-based diet at this point, correct? So when they did this burnt sacrifice, what did they do? We have burnt sacrifices, I keep saying burnt sacrifices. When we have burnt offerings, a lot of times we ate the offering, right? Did that happen here? Or did that happen with the other one? They just burn it? What happened? Nothing? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm just want to make sure we all on the same page. So they didn't eat this offering, correct? Or they did eat it? All right, what about the one with Noah? Did they eat that one?
Not sure.
Not sure. I'm going to tell you an easy way to think about it. God had respect unto Abel, right? So that means Abel was what? So was the law for him to eat meat, or was the law for him to eat A plant-based diet. So did he eat the offering? All right, Noah. Well, Noah was considered to be perfect, wasn't he? So that means he was righteous as well, right? So did Noah eat it? No. So that means he did not eat it. Even though a lot of burnt offerings we did eat, but they didn't eat these. Well, let's back it up though. Let's go to Leviticus 6 and 23.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 6, and verse 23. For every meat offering for the priest shall be wholly burnt. It shall not be eaten.
So it was some meat offerings that we offered that we just burned it all the way away and didn't eat it. Just like this one right here. Some meat offerings we did not eat. We just had to burn it all the way up to ash and it's just gone. That's it. So same with those meat offerings. Understand? All right, so now let's go. So there's still, we haven't even made it to the diet changing. Let's go to Genesis 9. Genesis 9 and verse 1. So now we've been through the flood, we get through all of that, got off the boat, and going out into the world to subdue it. And now we're at this point. Genesis 9 and 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
So now he has just now implemented in Genesis chapter 9. Now we have a meat diet where we can eat meat now. We can eat fish, right? We can eat shrimp. Good. All right. See, I like the face. That means that was wrong. So good. Well, we can't eat shrimp. We couldn't eat it then, can't eat it now. But you can get that batter though. That batter, you can put it on your chicken. Wee. You can do that. Okay. So now we have meat implemented into our diet now. Leviticus 11. You start verse 1.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the swine, that though he divide the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch.
It says, of their flesh you shall not eat, and of their carcass you shall not touch. What does that mean?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 35 and verse 21.
We're going to go to 23.
And they came, everyone whose heart stirred him up, and everyone whom his spirit made willing, And they brought the Lord's offering to the work of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So at this point, they're trying to, we just got out of Egypt, obviously, we're in the book of Exodus, and now we're getting instructions on how to build the tabernacle, what to do for that, what to do for the priest garments, the ephod, all of that stuff, right? So you're getting instructions on what to do. Go ahead.
And for all his service, and for the holy garments. And they came, both men and women, as many as were willing-hearted, and brought bracelets, and earrings, and rings, and tablets, all jewels of gold, and every man that offered an offering of gold unto the Lord. And every man with whom was found blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hairs, and red skins of ram, and badger skins, brought them.
So they brought all of these things for the making of the tabernacle and for the priest garments and the ephod and everything else, correct? Y'all following so far? Yes, sir. What the heck do this got to do with the question I asked? Who's connecting the dot? All right, somebody get one of the brothers the mic.
Shalom, Brother Aaron. It has ram skins and badger skins. I believe those are unclean. So if they had that in the tabernacle, you know.
Yeah, and then they had to touch it to bring it, right?
They had to bring it in there, right?
Right, so they touched it. Okay, all right, all praise, you got the point. All right, so let's build on that real quick. Let's go to Leviticus 11 and 29.
This is the book of Leviticus.
Badger skin, right?
11 and verse 29. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creepeth upon the earth, the weasel, and the mouse, and the tortoise after his kind.
The weasel. Pull up, I put in there the definition of badger. Let's get that. It's the Merriam-Webster definition. So go to Merriam-Webster. Yeah, let's see what that says. Badger.
Definition of badger. Any of various burrowing mammals, especially Taxidia, Texas, and blah, 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 of the weasel family.
Of the what family?
The weasel family.
So a badger is a weasel. It's in the same family as a weasel that we just read about as being unclean. But yet they touched it and brought that for the tabernacle. They brought. So obviously when it says not to touch it, it's talking about not to touch it to eat it. Y'all understand? Okay, all praises. All right, go back to Leviticus 11 and start in verse 9.
This is the book, Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So the way I look at this is the easy way to work with fish is to try to just figure out the ones that don't have fins and scales that people try to eat. So I don't have to worry about every different species of fish. Wait a minute, stop, look it up before I get ready to buy. Oh, wait a minute. I know I can't have this. Okay, the rest of this stuff is pretty much gonna be good. Because if you're going shopping, you don't get to see it in its natural form or in its natural state or habitat. You see it, it's already cut up, it's filleted, it's ready to go, it's in a package. You know, now you can take the time to go and look it up, which obviously that's good too. Or you can just try to figure out, I know I can't have this, or this. Then I don't have to worry about it when I'm going shopping and stopping every 2 seconds and looking everything up. So, just a thought. Drop down to verse 21.
Verse 21. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs upon their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind.
So, and the major reason that I want to make sure that we point this one out is because how many people going to Atlanta for Passover? Atlanta? Okay. But y'all will be back for the last day here, right? Okay, good. Because at the last day, we're going to have we're going to have locust and beetle stew, right? So, what's wrong? This is lawful. What's wrong with y'all? So just want to make sure y'all back. So y'all said y'all was gonna be back, right? Who said they gonna be back again? Look, hands ain't go up. I ain't coming back. I'm moving.
Hey, put some of that stuff in the unleavened bread.
Oh man. Had a little leg sticking out. Oh man. See, in the spirit, right? See, this is my sister right here. Right, see, you can come. I don't know about the rest of y'all. And we're going to have us some beetle stew. We're going to get it in. Cornbread, see, officer here, you in the spirit. It's going to be about 4 of us there, but we're going to get it in. Jump down to verse 46. I am just joking. Look, people ain't going to come. Look, I am just joking.
Verse 46. This is the law of the beast and of the fowl and of every living creature that moveth in the waters and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
So Leviticus 11, the whole book is dealing with what we can eat, what we can't eat. So you want to know what you can eat and not eat? Read Leviticus 11. But it's more to it. I didn't want to read the whole thing because we'd had to go through the whole chapter, but just go read that when you get a chance. Now, I want to read a definition. Let me get this definition out of this book. Read that highlighted part.
This is Nelson's complete book of Bible maps and charts. This is Deuteronomy, page 57. This is the second paragraph. The name of the book comes from the Greek word Deuteronomion, meaning second law, which was incorrectly used in the Septuagint to translate Deuteronomy 17 and 18. The New King James Version correctly renders it a copy of this law. Deuteronomy, however, is not a second law, but an adaptation and expansion of much of the original law given on Mount Sinai.
So, Deuteronomy means second law or repeating of the law. That's all it is. So when you read Deuteronomy chapter 14, it's just expounding on or repeating what you read in Leviticus chapter 11. Those two chapters go together. They're mirror images of each other. But you're going to get a little bit something extra out of Deuteronomy chapter 14. Let's get it. Deuteronomy chapter 14, and let's start at verse 2. This is also the dietary law.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer.
Wait a minute. Does anybody know what a hart is? Hart. A hart is a deer. Read. Oh, what about a roebuck? Roebuck. Another deer. It's a male roe deer. So those are both deer. Go ahead. Because when you see hart, a lot of people think of rabbit. Like, see, I knew we can have rabbits too. No, that ain't what they're talking about. Come on.
And the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pygarg.
I don't know what that is.
And the wild ox, and the, I don't know what it is. Chamois?
That's a sheep.
Okay. And every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat.
So did you see the difference between this and Leviticus 11? Leviticus 11 was just more like, all right, anything that chews the cud, divide the hook. This, they started naming specific animals so you can know, look, you can eat that one, this one, that one. They started getting more specific. Y'all saw that? Yes, sir. Okay. But watch this. Drop down to 21. This is also a part of dietary law.
Verse 21. Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it. Or thou mayst sellest it unto an alien. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk.
So if you have an animal and that animal just dropped dead from whatever, it's a young, healthy animal and it comes so supposedly healthy, walk by and it just dropped dead. You can't eat that. Why? Because you're a holy people. But you can take that animal, butcher it, and go sell it to heathens. With whatever disease is in it, they killed it. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That don't got nothing to do with the Most High. He like, look, hey, get your money. Get it from them, though. So be like, hey, look, hey, it died of AIDS. You know, I'm going to slash the price. Instead of $2.99, it's $2.95. Come on. Don't get that. I mean, I'm just saying. We just read what did we read? This is law. Well, this wasn't no suggestion. This was a law. He told you, look, but you can sell it unto an alien. He didn't say give it to him. He didn't say, oh man, it's dropped dead. Oh, you know what, I can't eat it. Oh, go ahead and take that cow. No, that's not what it said. It said sell it unto an alien. Not only am I going to give you something that's diseased, that died of itself, I'm going to take your money at the same time. And the Most High said, yes, that's good. He looked and it was good. He saw that it was good. He was like, wow, all praises. I love my God. So I like the way he get down. All right, so now let's go to let's go to Judith. Let's go to the book of Judith. Judith chapter 12 and verse 2. No, 1. 12 and 1.
This is the book of Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 12 and verse 1. Then he commanded to bring her in where his plate was set.
All right, wait, I got to explain who the he is because I didn't put all of that in there because I'm like, well, they probably read it. He is Holofernes. He was the captain of the Babylonian army, also called Assyrian army. Why? Because they conquered Assyria. So that's why sometimes you'll read, especially in the Apocrypha, they may call Nebuchadnezzar the king of Assyria because he conquered Assyria. But he was what? Babylonian, right? Y'all know that much, right? All right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, anybody read through Genesis? Nobody put their hands up. Golly, what y'all? All right. So read on.
And bade that they should prepare for her of his own meat, and
so
that she
they were going to prepare food for her, but of his meat. Go ahead.
And that she should drink of his own wine.
Mm-hmm.
And Judith said, I will not eat thereof, lest there be an offense. But provision shall be made for me of the things that I have brought.
So when you read this history, she went and she took her own food with her. She's like, look, I'm not eating that stuff that y'all eat. I got my own food. I eat my stuff. So that's what she ate. So she did not want to defile herself or to offend in eating the stuff that he had. So why is any of this stuff important, especially to right now?
This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, in the Apocrypha, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
It said, if there be any iniquity in us, and we sin against our God, they can overcome us. What are they doing? They're using the television, they're using the radio, they're using all of the media, they're using the clothing, all of that. They have our women coming out here. You can walk out of this right now. If you see a sister walking, guarantee you she's going to be dressed like a whore. And so what's that doing? Putting lust in your brother's mind. So now they're infecting you in multiple ways, and even in your food. Why? To keep you in sin. They're doing this to keep you in sin. They don't do stuff for purposely, not without a purpose. I said that wrong. They don't do stuff without a purpose. Everything they do is a calculated step for what? To keep you in sin. Read on.
Verse 21.
Because they know this right here.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
And said, you see that? He said, listen, if they're not in sin and we try to go up against them, we will become a reproach before all the world. This is if their God be for them. Their God be for them. They know that God is not the God of everybody. They know that God is our God. So what do they got to do? Keep us dumb, keep us broke, keep us in bad health, keep us in poor school system, keep us eating the wrong things. So it's a never-ending cycle. You got to understand, when we say this is spiritual warfare, it is spiritual warfare. This is warfare going on. This is a war. It's a war when you pull up to the drive-thru. That was part of the war. And your enemy winning. So just be mindful of that. Understand that. Go to Ezekiel chapter 4 and 9.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4 and verse 9. Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and...
Wait, I just got to explain. So this is the Most High giving Ezekiel a diet that he wants him to follow. And this thing is so funny to me. I mean, when I read this history, I just be well, read on. Let's see what he got for him.
Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fishes, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof. And thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time shalt thou eat it. Thou shalt drink also water by measure, the 6th part of an hin. From time to time shalt thou drink. And thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of bread, and the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
Real quick, well, read on. Watch this.
Then said I, Ah, Lord God, behold, my soul hath not been polluted, for from my youth up even till now have I not eaten of that which dieth of itself, or is torn in pieces, neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. Then he said unto me, Lo, I have given thee cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith.
Y'all see that? So, when you read this whole thing, it's hilarious, because Ezekiel don't say a word, none of what the Most High talking, until you get to that part. Like, yeah, make your bread with man's dung. Hey, wait a minute, I ain't never ate. He didn't say a word until he got to that part. He said, okay, yeah, I can do that. Yep, wait a minute. Do what? Now I got a problem. Like, wait a minute. But what I want you to notice is that this is just a representation. He's having him do this as a representation of what we were going to go through. So he's saying that he's making the comparison to man's dung to the bread that we would eat. This is like crap. This is crap what we eating. Oh, I thought that was something to say. So this is crap that we eating, and he's making that comparison and showing, he's using this as an example to show to us as a people. And I hope y'all made that connection right there. So let me I'm not going to hit on this, but let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 21. I shouldn't have said I ain't going to hit it. Dang. Angela, shut up.
This is the Apocrypha, the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
So it said that the food is going to be so good on earth cheap. But then it spoke about famine. Why is it a famine? It's not just because of lack of food. It's because you're not getting anything out of it. This stuff is defiled. So when we're dealing with this and it's talking about a famine, don't necessarily mean that there won't be anything there. You're just not getting the nutrients that you're supposed to get out of it. So you're still starving. You're still starving. Now, watch this. Last thing, I want to watch this video. Get that last link I put in there. It's called Fruits and Vegetables Changed.
You may take the appearance of everyday fruit and veggies for granted, but did you know they haven't always looked like they currently do? Through selective breeding, humans have been molding fruits and vegetables to our liking, changing the way they look drastically over the years. Here are 10 fruits and veggies that looked very different before we started cultivating them. Amazing! Number 10. Corn. The evolution of corn is a great example of how we can significantly change a vegetable over time. Corn actually comes from a Mexican grass called tisenti. The barely edible tisenti is small, skinny, and it has very few kernels. Back then, these kernels were also hard to reach, since they were encased by a hard shell. To peel it, you had to hit it with a hard object several times. It's also speculated that it had a very dry taste, like a raw potato. The link between corn and tisenti wasn't very easy to find, actually. For many years, nobody knew where corn came from, since it doesn't look like anything that grows in the wild. It was only after finding several similar chromosomes between the two that this link was determined. One scientist even managed to pop a tisenti kernel. The cultivation of tisenti to modern-day corn came about as, for each subsequent harvest, we selective bred the more desirable tisenti plants that had larger and more rows of kernels. This led the corn we know today, which is easy to peel and 1,000 times larger. Modern corn also contains 4 times more sugar compared to the natural old version of corn. Number 9. Avocado. The millennials' favorite fruit has gone through quite a lot of change, and it's all for the better. In the wild, avocados are very small and can easily fit into the center of your palm, growing to about 3 inches in diameter. The pit of the wild avocado takes almost all the space inside the fruit, leaving little room for the fruit's famous green flesh. Roughly speaking, it would take close to 10 wild avocados to get the same amount of flesh that you would get with a single modern version of the fruit. Worse yet, the little flesh that it has doesn't taste very good. It has a rougher, grittier quality, in contrast to the creamy and tasty characteristic of the modern avocado. The wild avocado was also encased in a hard shell, quite different from the leathery, fleshy kind of skin that the current avocado has. Thankfully, our ancestors improved the fruit in significant ways, selectively breeding it, allowing us to have this tasty fruit that goes so well on toast. Number 8. Peach. The peach is another example of our ancestors using selective breeding to create a bigger and tastier version of a fruit. Domesticated by the Chinese around 4000 BC, the original peach was very small and resembled a cherry. It had a waxy skin and only 64% of edible flesh. It also had a taste that was described as earthly, sweet, sour, and slightly salty, similar to a lentil. Also, a big amount of the wild peach was occupied by the fruit stone, close to 34%. After thousands of years, farmers got to the version of the peach we have today. The current modern peach has soft, edible skin and is 64 times larger. It also has 90% of edible flesh, a vast increase from the wild peach. The stone in the current peach has also dramatically decreased in size, making up for only 10% of the fruit. The current peach is also 27% juicier and tastes 4% sweeter. All around, the peach has just gotten better through the ages.
Y'all think y'all been like, this for the people that have been thinking, oh, I eat healthy.
Right.
See, I eat healthy stuff. Yeah, everything you probably been seen on there was something that was man-made, created, readjusted, genetically modified. It was like, we don't even know what this stuff is anymore. We don't know what. It's like when we read in the scriptures and we read that Christ, they went and they plucked the corn. In your mind, you was thinking of that. You're like, oh yeah, yellow. Yeah, they plucked it and they ate it. Yeah. No, we don't know what that was he was eating. We don't know what real corn looks like. We've been raised our whole life. So that is why we just read. Let's end off with that. Let's get that again. Let's get that in. No. Second Esdras 21. See, now it's funny because now we had just been looking for genetically modified corn. We want to know if it's GMO. It don't matter which way it is. It's still not even corn. Go ahead.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, in the Apocrypha, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
They can go and get them some cucumbers, some corn, some watermelon, some, what else did we see on here?
Carrots.
Some carrots. I'm gonna make me a salad. All right, I'm gonna put some carrots in it. I'm gonna put tomatoes on it. You didn't put none of that stuff nowhere. You never dealt with a cucumber. You never seen a tomato. You never dealt with nothing. Go ahead.
And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Great confusion. Are you not greatly confused now? Yes. All right, all praises. Well, then we in prophecy. So with that, we're going to end the class and say shalom.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. Take care of us. And our children too. We have repented. How about you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.